What's up guys? So we have talked a lot about the oops concept in Python. We had discussed about class variables, then we had gone to constructors, and after that we had discussed about functions in the classes, then we had discussed about class methods and static methods. So these are some of the basic concept in oops in Python, and I hope that you guys understood every bit of it. So in this video I'm going to show you how we can perform inheritance in the oops concept in Python. Now inheritance in real life, it means that the traits of the father, it goes into the child. So for example, if a father, if he is bald, it may be that his child also becomes bald because he has the similar traits like his father. Or for example, if his father is blue eyed, it may be that the child is also blue eyed. Or for example, if the father has red hair, then the child can also have red hair. Or for example, if the father is a bit white toned, then the child can be also white toned. So these are some of the traits that get passed from the father to the child, and you guys might have seen it in real life as well about the similarities between you and your father. Show that what traits have been passed from your father to you, and basically these are some of the real life examples of inheritance. Now how we can perform inheritance in Python? So in order to show that to you, I'm quickly going to make a new Python file right here, and I'll name this Python file as oops8. So after this, I'm going to just copy all the code that we had written previously, and I'm going to paste it inside this. Now I'm going to remove all of the functions that I've ran, and this is employee from dash. So I'm going to remove this employee3 object as well. And after that, I've just made these two simple objects, emp1 and emp2, and basically I've passed these arguments inside the constructor. So we had made a constructor, and after that we had defined some functions. So let me give you an analogy guys. If we have a company named Google, and they have lots of departments inside Google. For example, they have the marketing department, then they have a development department, they have the software testing department, and these kinds of departments, they have CEOs in it. Now the class employee, it is public. It is for every employee inside Google. But for example, if Google wants to give more liability, more functions to the CEOs, then what Google can do is that they can perform inheritance. Now inheritance in Python, it is between classes. So for example, if we have an CEO class, I'll make class CEO right here. So I can write class CEO, and after that I'll just write pass, so I won't do anything inside it. So as you can see that we have got this class named CEO, and if Google wants to give some more functions to the CEO, for example, if they want to give free parking to the CEO, or if they want to give some free membership to a club to the CEO, then they can write the functions inside this class. But also Google wants that the CEO can access all of these functions inside the employee class, because technically a CEO basically comes inside the employees of the company. So the CEO should be able to get all of these functions as well, and also that it should get the free parking and free membership functions. So for that purpose, what we can do is that we can just copy this whole bit, and after that we can just paste it inside the class CEO. But guys, is that reusability of code, is that a bit liable and a bit feasible to us? Because we are just copying this, and for example, if we have CEO1, CEO2, and for example if Google wants to give different functions to different CEOs, then will we copy all of these functions inside these classes? No, right? We will have to perform inheritance. That is, the child, he can access all of the functions that are inside the parent class, but the parent, he cannot access the functions that are inside the child class. So basically the objects that we are going to make of the child class, he can access all of the functions that are inside the employee. And for that purpose, for inheritance, what we'll have to do is that we'll have to write the child class, and after that we'll have to put a bracket, and then we'll have to write the parent class. So I'll have to write employee right here, and now this becomes the CEO class, it becomes a child class. So I'll write here child class, and the employee class, it becomes a parent class. So I'll write parent class, and as you can see that PyCharm ID, it has also given me a symbol right here that this is subclassed by CEO, that is the employee class, it has been subclassed by the CEO class. So now I'm going to remove this pass, and after that what I'll do is that I'll make a function. So I'll write uh, print CEO, and after that I'll write print, then I will have to make an f string, and I'll just copy the whole bit right here. So the name of the employee is this, and the number of leaves is this. So when I put it inside this, as you can see that I'll have to change employee into CEO because this is the CEO, and after that the salary of the CEO, then the number of leaves of the CEO, because a CEO is something that he's above the rest of the employees, but he's technically an employee in the eyes of the company. So after this we have just made a simple function right here about, and we have named it print CEO. And after that I'm going to make a new object of this class. So I'll write emp3, and after that I'll write CEO, and then I'll name him as Lewis, then his age is 60, and then his salary is 30,000 because he's the CEO, and the number of leaves that he gets is 30. So after this what I'll do is that I'll run this program and it won't print anything, but we know that our program is running perfectly fine without any errors. So now I'll use this emp3 in order to access this print CEO function. So I'll write emp3 dot print CEO, and as you can see guys that my PyCharm ID, it is showing me three functions right here that I can access. So with emp3 I can access print statement that is coming from the employee class, and then I can access print CEO that is coming from the CEO class, then I can access print salary that is coming from the employee class. So as you can see that we can access the functions from the parent class that is the employee class, and we can also access the functions inside the CEO class. So when I run print CEO and when I run this program, as you can see that it has printed the name of the CEO is Lewis, the salary of the CEO is 30,000, the age is 60, and similarly it has printed everything. So if I want to run emp1.print CEO, will that work? Let's check it. emp1 dot print CEO, and when I write print CEO, my PyCharm ID is not showing me a recommendation. Why? Because emp1 is an object of the parent class, and as I told you earlier that the parent class objects, they cannot access the functions inside the child class, but a child class object, he can access the functions of the parent class. So I cannot access print CEO, but I can definitely access print salary and print statement that are inside the employee class. So if I run so I'll delete this, and after that I'll show you emp3 dot print statement, and then I'll have to provide some arguments. So I'll write Lewis. So when I run this program, as you can see that it is printed this is very good Lewis, that this is a proof that we can also access the functions of the print class with the help of the child class object. So I hope guys that you understood what we can do with this. And for example, if I want to provide the languages that the CEO can speak, so I can write the languages right here. I can write he uses English, and after that he can speak for example French, and I'll also make another object. So I'll name this object as emp4, and after that I'll name him Rahul, and his age is for example 50, and his salary is 29,000, then the number of leaves he gets is 29. So he knows English, French, and he knows a little bit of German and Hindi. So these are the languages that Rahul knows, and these are the languages that Lewis knows. So it is showing me a yellow line right here. Now most of the people, they will get confused that why is it showing me a yellow line, because our constructor, it basically takes only 4 arguments right here, and in our CEO we haven't made a constructor, so it is accessing the constructor of the parent class, that is this one right here. So it is confused that why are you giving me a fifth argument, I am only taking 4 arguments right here. So for that purpose what I'll have to do is that I'll have to define a constructor in the CEO class, and I'll have to make a different constructor for the CEO class. So I'll write def underscore underscore init, and as you can see that it is taking 5 arguments. So I'll just copy this whole bit. I'll copy this, and after that I'll paste it right here, and after that I'll write languages. So e languages, and e-languages is going to be a list of the languages that the CEO knows. So I have created a list right here, and after that I'll have to write self dot name is equal to the name, and similarly I'll have to do it for the age, the salary, the number of leaves, the and e-languages. So what I'll do is that I'll just copy this whole bit, and after that I'll just print it inside this constructor that I made inside the CEO class. So now guys, as you can see that I just copied all of the things that were inside the previous constructors, and we have just shooted the concept of reusability, because we are just using the code again and again, and this is not good for oops, because oops is basically do not repeat yourself, but we are repeating yourself. So what we can do is that we can make the use of the super keyword. Now the super keyword is something from which you can access the previous constructor from the child class, and I won't talk about the super keyword in this video because it will confuse a lot of you, as I've told a lot inside this video, and I'll just write everything that was inside the previous constructor. So after this I'll write self dot languages, and after that I'll write e-languages. So as you can see that we have used all of the parameters that they have passed, and we have made 5 instance variables of the object. So after this, if I run this program, as you can see that it will print the name of the CEO is Lewis, salary is this, and number of leaves is this. Now for example, if I want to print the languages that he knows, I can write languages, and then I'll have to write self dot languages. So after this, if I run this program again, as you can see that it has printed age is this, and then languages is English and French. Now I can also write it for emp4. So I'll write emp4 dot print CEO, and after that if I run this program, as you can see that it has printed the statement for Rahul as well. So he knows English, French, German, Hindi, and similarly you can also define a static method inside the child class, and after that you can define class methods inside the child class, and basically you have the whole playground in your hands. So guys, what is the advantage of inheritance? We did not have to reuse the code, that is we can access all of the functions without writing all of these functions inside a separate class, and we just had to make a child class, because a child class, it can basically access all of the functions that are inside the parent class, and we can access the constructor, then we can access all of the class methods, static methods, and everything. So this is the importance of child class. And for example, in your code, if you want to give some player, some special player that has a high rank, for example if you are making a game and if you want to make more functions for the high rank player, then you can write some set of functions, and after that you can give it to that high rank player. So child class is used when you want something to access some new functions with accessing the previous functions, and you can use the inheritance concept for that purpose. So I hope guys that you understood everything in today's video. If you haven't accessed my Python for Absolute Beginners playlist, the link will be in the description. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope you're safe, and I'll see you next time.